So my story started in school, and me and my friend went to the bathroom, and these two other girls came. Those two girls were actually the people who I hung out with. When they walked in the bathroom, me and my friend went out because obviously we were done. And I left something in the bathroom, and I told my friend, she was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just meet you in class." So as I was heading towards the bathroom, I heard them talking, and I wasn't trying to be nosy or anything, but they were talking about someone, and I was just like, wow, only to realise that they were talking about me. And they were saying all these horrible, nasty stuff, how I was rude, clingy, bossy. They even called me the B word. I didn't expect it off them. It was some pretty nasty stuff. And I know normally some people would just open the door and be like, "Why the hell are you talking about me? Blah, blah, blah. Come say it to my face." But I mean, at the time, I was shocked because I caught them and I didn't know what to do. Plus, I sort of realised maybe they did this when I wasn't around, so it just sort of made everything worse. I started heading back to the classroom. I just didn't want to be around them. I was quiet for the whole afternoon. I didn't really talk to anyone. I was just really quiet and I just felt like crying because I didn't know what I did to deserve this. When I got home, my mum gave me this speech about how I should have confronted them on their face, and I sort of regretted it. But again, it was my first time and I didn't know that they were talking about me. Like, I didn't know that this would happen. So, I mean, I was just clueless. I didn't know what to do. So the next day, my teacher got like the whole year group. He put us in like pairs and groups and trios or whatever. And I ended up being with them. It was really awkward because I was just sat there like a complete idiot. And them two were like talking to each other. And I just couldn't hold it in anymore because it just annoyed me how they were talking about me. So I let it out and I just confronted them. I said, "I heard what you said about me in the bathroom," and I watched their faces go red. And I wanted to laugh so freaking hard. And they just stared at each other and they were like, "Oh my God." They were shocked that I heard them and I confronted them about it. So after that, I just got up out my seat and I just started working with another group because I didn't want to be around them. I couldn't stand them. Like, they're just toxic people who I did not want to be around. They still hang out in the same group, but they're not really best friends anymore. Meanwhile, I hang out with a bunch of people who love me for who I am, respect me, who I know will never ever talk about me behind my back. For the people who are listening, just know your worth and don't let anyone else bring you down because you shouldn't be in a toxic friend group.
It was the day of our school trip to Ranthambore, a forest in Rajasthan. Our school is in Mumbai, so we had to take a plane to get there. This was the first time we would be going on a plane without our parents. Yes! We get into the airport, scan our stuff. And then I look over to my right in the airport and I see my ex standing right there. So we look at each other in a disgusted look because we just broke up. But whatever. We're just about to board the plane. My seat number was 40E. So I boarded from the back, and then my ex is like, "Hey, I really hope that I'm not sitting with you, so what's your seat number?" Mine's 40E. "Are you kidding me?" "Why?" "Mine's 40D. "What? Are you kidding me?" So that means I have to sit next to my ex for 1.5 hours. I could have cried right there and then, but I didn't. I held myself together. So I was talking to my friend. I'd got my bottle out of my bag. My bag's open, and I was on my period, so my pads are all on my bag. My ex, he starts scavenging through my bag and picks up my pads, and he's like, "What's this?" That's my pads. Can you put that down? My face is red. "Ew, you're on your periods?" He is in a disgusted look. It was the worst. I wanted to jump off that plane. Could you give that back? I snatch it from him. I feel like slapping it on him, and I put it back in my bag. And I'm like, "I'm going to murder you. You are dead." And he's like, yeah, I'm so scared of you. Yeah. The rest of the plane ride went through awkward silence. Now, if you're wondering on the way back from the trip, he started saying inappropriate stuff. So my teacher, homeroom teacher, can you believe that? He kicked him out of where he sat and moved him to the back where he sat, and my homeroom teacher sat next to me. Fell asleep. It was boring. Anyway, that's my story, my embarrassing period story.
One day when I was in 3rd grade, I decided to sign up to play the viola. Yeah, big mistake. I ended up hating playing that thing. It was uncomfortable, and I hated reading the notes. But at that time, my teacher was nice enough, except for when she would yell at me for not cutting my naturally long nails, which I get was annoying for her because in order to sound good, I needed to have short nails. But I really couldn't give a flying cockadoodle pickle about all this viola stuff. So I really wanted to quit, but my mom wouldn't let me for 2 years because she thought I'd be the next Beethoven or something. But in 5th grade, she finally let me. Fast forward to about 8th grade. In my tech class, I had to sit next to some girl who really didn't like me for some reason. Like, she made a poem about me saying, if a brick smacked Jess in the face, the world would be a better place. So some crazy little Shakespeare chick who either wants me dead or wants my face to be as flat as a pancake is sitting next to me. Great. So I was just minding my own business when this snobby McSnobster turns to me and goes, hey, Jess, why don't you tell everyone why you quit viola? Because it made me so stressed. I wanted to break it into itty-bitty pieces and then strangle myself with its strings until I was unconscious and blue. Why? Yeah, right. You sure it's not because you didn't want to cut your nails? Then that's when my eyes widened. Where did you get that false information? Oh, I asked some girl about you and she told me that. Well, I hate to break it to you, honey, but your friend is a liar. Well, actually, the teacher told her class. How pathetic. And blah, 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 blah. I just kind of zoned this chick out at this point. I was stunned that some 30-something-old teacher would pollute some kid's mind with some stupid lie about another student. I needed to know exactly what this teacher said about me, so I asked some of my old fella viola buddies, and going by what they said, this is what happened. Some girl said, hey, why isn't Jess here? Did she quit or something? And instead of saying something along the lines of, oh, well, that's her private business, this salty teacher told her whole class, oh, the reason Jess quit is because she couldn't cut her nails. So some kids went, ooh, exposed. Others laughed like, yeah, 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 quitter, yeah, 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 yeah. I was mortified that 10-year-old me and my long fingernails made a negative appearance with my name in her class. Like, lady, you are 30. Your school gossiping days are over. At first, I was offended, but then I realized I'm not the 30-year-old wazzbag in this situation gossiping about 10-year-olds. But now I just wish I could go back to my elementary school and suck up enough courage and confront her and say, hey, I don't appreciate your grown butt spreading a lie about my 10-year-old self and my fingernail length. And then watch the color drain out of her face.
So me and my friend Sarah are at my house and we're thinking, hey, what should we do? And she's like, hey, why don't we make a Twitter account for that teacher who taught you science last year? I'm like, what? Why would we do that? She's like, because he doesn't have one and we should totally make one for him. So I'm like, are you sure? We might get in trouble. She's like, no, you're not going to get in trouble. We'll just delete the account afterwards when we're done. So we make the account and we make the profile. We post pictures of him. We had like a few pictures of him that we took at school, field trips, stuff like that. We follow all the teachers. We follow the school. We follow like the teachers' wives and husbands. We follow everyone, honestly. And then the teachers start messaging us. They're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? We should totally hang out. Just like your friends would text you, but teacher version. And we pretended to be him. We were like, oh, I'm busy today, sorry. So it was a Friday, and the Monday after, we're at school, and we overhear the teachers talking to each other, asking each other if he had a Twitter account, and he's like, no, I don't. Why are you asking me? Because we think someone made one for you. And we get so scared. Once we get home, we're going to delete that account. My mom doesn't pick me up. I take the bus home. So by the time I'm home, I see the cops. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm totally screwed. I walk in and they're like, hey, is it true that you made this account? I didn't know what to say. I was just thinking, is Sarah in trouble for this too? Is Sarah in trouble for this too? And eventually they talk it out of me and I tell them, yeah, it was me. And they're like, yeah, we thought so. I was scared. I was just thinking if Sarah was in trouble because it wasn't even my idea. So I got a 3-day suspension. Wasn't really that bad, but I missed a lot. And yeah, that's the end of the story.